the cursed guest house. For a crucial job exam, my friends Ruby, Olive, and I arrived in Kolkata at 9 in the night. We found ourselves walking down unfamiliar streets when Ruby suggested, let's spend the night at the railway station. The exam is tomorrow morning. Why waste money on a guest house? If you want to go, you go. Rajib and I are not going, Olive retorted. No! Rajib will come with me, you don't have to come. Hey, Rajib, will you come with me? Ruby insisted. I can't find peace anywhere with you guys. And Ruby, why do you want to spend the night at the railway station? I asked, puzzled by his suggestion. Because we need extra money after the job exam tomorrow to go out and have fun. Besides, staying at a guest house will cost us 3,000 rupees for the night, and we can save that money for a full day of enjoyment tomorrow. What do you think of the idea? Ruby explained. Terrible idea. You stingy brat, you're your parents' only child, and your father has plenty of money. So why do you want to stay at the railway station? Olive exclaimed in frustration. Hey, why are you guys fighting? And Ruby, why are you saying this? You don't need to pay for the stay, I'll pay. Let's go, I said, hoping to end the argument. Everyone fell silent, and we continued walking. Ruby broke the silence after a while. Hey, think about it one more time? No way, you don't need to come with us. Go to the railway station right now. We're exhausted from the journey, Olive said angrily. Oh, so you made the journey, and we flew here. Rajib, why aren't you saying anything? Ruby grumbled. What should I say? Since we arrived in the city, you two have been bickering non-stop, I replied, exasperated. Rajib, I'm really hungry. Let's eat something and then find a guest house, Olive suggested. Okay, let's go, I agreed. We went to a nearby restaurant, had our meal, and then called a waiter to ask, excuse me, is there any guest house nearby where we can stay for the night? Yes, there is one nearby, but it will cost a bit more, the waiter replied. All right, please give us the address, I said. After getting the address from the waiter, we headed to the guest house. The surroundings were quite deserted, and it was a 10-story building. It was 10 at night, and the area was pitch dark. We three went to the reception, paid 3,000 rupees, and booked a room. The manager gave us the room key and said, you have to check out by 9 tomorrow morning. I agreed, took the key, and we went to the room at the end of the 9th floor. As soon as we entered, a warm breeze brushed against us. I turned on the ceiling fan, and my friends lay down on the bed. I looked around the room, which was well arranged. Suddenly, I smelled a familiar perfume, but I couldn't figure out where it was coming from since there was no one else here but us. Just then, Ruby put his hand on my shoulder and said, Hey, what are you looking at? Nothing much, just checking out the room, I replied. Okay, you've seen enough. Now, freshen up, and let's sleep. Oh, and tell Auntie that we have checked into the guest house, Ruby said and left. After informing my family, I also went to the washroom. While washing my face and looking in the mirror, I felt someone move behind me. I dismissed it as nothing. After freshening up, the three of us lay down to sleep, with the dim bulb lighting the room. At 2 a.m., I woke up to the sound of someone groaning. The sound was coming from the washroom. My two friends were sound asleep. I got up and started walking towards the washroom. My body tingled with fear as the groaning sounded like a woman's voice, but there were no women here, only us three. So who was making that sound? Curiosity got the better of me. I opened the washroom door, turned on the light, and my eyes widened in shock. I saw blood everywhere, as if an animal had just been slaughtered there. The whole floor was covered in blood, but when I looked up, I saw a black shadow circling me. Fear gripped me. I ran back to the bed and started shaking Ruby and Olive awake. Eventually, they woke up, annoyed and groggy, and said, What's wrong in the middle of the night? Let us sleep in peace. Damn, I'm going back to sleep. Ruby lay back down while I told Olive about what I saw. He grudgingly agreed to check it out with me. I felt very scared, stopping frequently. Olive opened the washroom door, and when I looked inside, the floor was spotless, with no trace of blood. But why? I had seen the floor soaked in blood with my own eyes. Olive looked at me angrily, and I said, "I'm telling the truth, there was blood here, and a shadow was circling above." "Then where are the blood and the shadow?" "Dude, let's sleep. We have to wake up early to study tomorrow." "Come on," Olive said, leaving angrily. The scene I had witnessed kept flashing before my eyes. As I left the washroom, I heard a deep sigh. Turning around, I saw nothing. I brushed it off as my imagination and went back to bed. At 3:45 a.m., I was woken up again by loud breathing and groaning. Turning to the side, I noticed Ruby was not in bed. Where did Ruby go? I called out to Olive loudly, but he wouldn't wake up. Instead, he pushed me away with his hand to stop bothering him. I was getting very angry with Olive. After seeing that blood-soaked floor, fear had gripped my heart. The sound of heavy breathing intensified. I realized the sound was coming from the washroom. I got out of bed and, with fear in my heart, slowly approached the washroom while reciting surahs. I could hear dogs barking loudly from around the building. Just as I was about to open the door, Ruby suddenly came out. I was startled with fear. Ruby was rolling on the floor, blood dripping from his mouth, his face covered in blood. Seeing this, I was terrified. I ran to Ruby and held him, saying, "Buddy, what's wrong? Why are you like this?" Ruby tried to speak but couldn't. Seeing Ruby's condition, I started crying and called out to Olive loudly. Olive, still groggy from sleep, looked at us and then jumped out of bed. He came over and held Ruby, saying, "What's wrong, buddy? Why is blood coming from your mouth?" Ruby then opened his mouth, showing that his tongue had been cut off. Seeing this, both Olive and I started crying, repeatedly saying, "Who did this to you? We won't spare them." Ruby's eyes widened as he pointed towards the washroom door. When Olive and I looked in that direction, my entire body shivered with fear. Trembling, I saw a girl in a white dress standing there with a blood-soaked knife. Blood was streaming from her eyes, and part of her face was decayed, with flesh hanging from her cheeks. She was chewing on something. Was it Ruby's severed tongue? The sight of such a gruesome face made our entire bodies shake with fear. The girl, in an instant, floated towards us in rage. Ruby held onto us tightly in fear. Olive, terrified, was trying to recite surahs, but words wouldn't come out of his mouth. As she approached, the ghostly girl slashed Olive's chest with the knife. Olive screamed in pain. I was astonished that no one came despite our screams. I said to the ghost, "Why are you hurting us? What have we done to you?" I cried out in terror. But the ghost didn't say anything. Instead, she became furious and approached me. My heart shrank with fear. I couldn't make a sound, as if my voice had been taken away. I backed up until I hit the wall. Then I saw the writing on the wall, "Cursed Guest House." My head started spinning. What did I just read? I remembered the ominous atmosphere of the guest house and how strangely the manager had looked at us. And we hadn't seen many people around the guest house. The few we did see had looked at us oddly. While thinking this, I didn't notice when the ghost had come close to me.